Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Daily Drop-In, bright and early this morning. Happy Monday, October 4th. Holy cow, it's October. I know, it's that crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. We're going to have a really, really good discussion for you this morning. As you know, every single Monday, it is Shenanigans with Rae and Jeff. So we really promise no value, but we'll at least be laughing our way through it. We also have a good news story for you. There's a whole lot of celebrations today. They're going to make you quite hungry. And we have a brand new theme this week that we're really eager to dive into. So as we get started, please go fill up your coffee. I know I have a full cup ready to enjoy our Monday together. And we will kick it off with a morning cheers as a whole stinking family. So we'll be right back. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Jeff, did you see that commercial that played that worked? And we're still here.
We're still here. As far as I can tell, you're still here. Can you drop in the comments and let us know, are we still here? Is Rae there? Like, is this still happening? Did it break? Like, is it fixed?
Because we know that while we feel like we're still here, and Adam, Karen, Brianne still in the comments, Friday was like the worst show ever with tech issues. So we just
there's just a little bit of enough delay where we could not be here. And so Karen's saying no tech issues. So
done.
Win.
Amazing.
I think we can wrap this up. This is great. Thanks for coming to the show. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, bye guys. Just kidding. Jeff, how are you? Happy Monday.
I'm good. Happy Monday, Rae. It's a good Monday. I'm excited.
It is a good Monday.
Awake.
Yeah, good Monday to be awake. Good Monday to kick off like incredible things. We have the best Monday ahead of us and we don't even know it yet. I love this.
I like that. We have the best Monday ahead of us and we don't even know it yet.
I like that Karen says, I just watched 5 minutes of Friday while I was waiting. And then she put this like sad crying face. You know that is the perfect emoji to describe Friday.
That does, yeah. That describes Friday perfectly.
For those of you who didn't join us, Brad ditched me, StreamYard quit on me, and I was set up to fail. That's all I'm saying.
Jeff tried to fix and broke it worse, I think.
Terrible.
I don't know. Yes. So essentially, the biggest thing, well, there's two things that were going on. One, everyone seemed to have like an echo. Mm-hmm. And two, anytime you played one of the videos, you got kicked out.
Yeah, I think that's the cool part. I want to host a behind the scenes look at Daily Drop-In with like, what does our space look like and what does the back end look like? Because I have to tell you,
when you cameras right here.
Exactly. Like that's what I'm saying. Because when you click on the commercial, which is one of the many buttons that we have on our side, then like my entire computer would shut down on Friday. And it was like a hot mess. It was just a hot mess express. It was fine.
So your computer was shut down or like your browser, it was just booting you?
The browser. So it was like Chrome would be like, StreamYard's not responding. Do you want to wait or kill pages? Do you know how that gives you that option?
Oh, no kidding.
And so the first time, spoiler alert, the first time I waited, bad decision. Second time I killed pages. That was a good decision. Then the rest of the time I didn't click any other commercials.
So you had to kill the pages, then jump back in the Chrome, jump back in the StreamYard, get back in, which is why there was like it was about like a minute or so of you not. It
was not my best take, friends. You know, this wasn't the best. Mm-hmm. And that's why here on the, Teach Better Family, we're not very professional. We'll tell you all the mistakes we make, and the production team doesn't always pull through. That's all we're saying.
Fair enough assessment. I think that's fair.
I like this. It's like an MTV Cribs of Daily Drop-In. Yeah, that'd be good. I do have to say, Jeff, you are hosting Daily Drop-In on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I think then you should have your camera. It would be a different setup, different distractions. I think this would be cool.
So should I do 3 screens? So it'd be me, guest, and then behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
Like back here, you just see the back of my head the whole time.
Yeah. Well, maybe like a puppy or a cat would be running around.
Well, there's always a chance of that. Always a chance.
Always a chance.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Good morning, everyone. Happy October 4th, Monday, October 4th. I don't know why, because it was October on Friday, but with all the tech issues, I didn't really realize. Jeff, happy October.
Happy October. It's crazy. It's October. My son turns 10 this month.
Oh my.
In just a couple of days. I know,
Yeah.
double digits.
When's his birthday?
Thursday?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
And Halloween.
Well, it's not Halloween yet. In this
No,
month.
no, this month is Halloween, yeah.
Yeah.
Like right at the end, I think.
There's a lot of things going on in October. It's not just Halloween. But then again, I think October 1, everyone's like, we can officially celebrate Halloween all month long without.
Oh, yeah. Then the massive ghost and the great pumpkin went up across the street because my neighbors do awesome Halloween decorations. I don't know if you caught my story yesterday, Jacqueline fell asleep on me watching a Browns game, but we have the skeleton that usually hangs on the door, and she had it laying with us. So I have a picture like it's her conked out on me with like she's like cuddling with the skeleton, and I'm like, it's Halloween.
There we go.
Ready. So it's exciting.
I love it. I am curious when you watched who did the Browns play yesterday?
The Vikings.
And how did they play?
We won. It was they didn't play. Neither team. Well, both defenses played well. Neither team played great. So it was a low scoring and kind of. But it was still a fun game to watch. I don't know why, because I'm like, this wasn't a great game. But the Browns won. So.
Well, and the Bears won yesterday too, which was great. Yeah. And then Jeff, I pulled this up because it wasn't going to be our good news story because I don't want people to yell at us in the comments. But just as a fun fact, for those of you who didn't stay up late, Tom Brady broke the NFL career passing yardage record against the Patriots last night.
Okay, yeah, against the Patriots. So like all yesterday was all about Brady going home and stuff. Yep.
And so what I was reading this, a 28-yard completion to Mike Evans gave the 7-time Super Bowl champion over 80,000 career passing yards. It's like ridiculous. So I did not stay up, although I won't lie, I did fall asleep with the game on. So I felt like that almost counted as me watching it because maybe the dogs watched it.
It was. I think it counts. I think you're good.
Like the game was on and it was 3-7, so it was like the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
And I went to bed, so
I didn't watch any of it, so it's all good.
See? Do you see that I really am a committed fan? Made sure all of you were updated on your NFL. I got you guys. See? Mm-hmm.
Who's your NFL team? It's not either one of them. Is it the Bears? Is that your NFL
always
team?
The Bears.
Okay.
Really anything but the Packers is my approach. I did have I went and got wings last night. So at the place that I went and got food, there was like the Ravens and Broncos were playing, the Packers and was it the Steelers were playing, and both my teams lost because I would have gone Broncos and Steelers.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, I don't like the Steelers, but kind of wanted the Broncos kind of let me down.
But Chad likes the Steelers, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I'm a Browns fan.
Okay, so you can't, but he does. Okay, I can't win with the both of you. Okay.
Oh yeah. So anyone other than the Steelers and the Ravens.
Can I tell you the funniest story? And this is, I don't know why we're live talking about this, but yesterday I was talking to a few different people and I kept saying, well, the boys. As I kept being like, well, the boys. And this person I was with stopped me and goes, when you say the boys, do you mean Jeff, Chad, and Dave, or do you mean your dogs, Alfred and Harvey?
I was trying to figure out, I'm like, which one are you talking about? Because either one, you refer to all the same.
And you know what? I just think grouping people together is how I, have categories in my life. So when I say the boys in that story, I was talking about you, Chad, and Dave. But apparently Harvey and Alfred were up in the air for that story.
Yeah, we kind of, it's either way.
Really, it's either way. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Happy Daily Drop-In. Thank you for joining the shenanigans. We are getting a lot of comments. So while we're talking about nothing, we appreciate that you're talking about nothing with us.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we love to see. There's definitely a lot of good stuff that we're going to be able to get into, but one of which, Jeff, is that usually at the beginning we ask how each other are and how the weekends were. Did you have any good stories from this weekend, or was it just Jacqueline falling asleep with the skeleton? That was
Jacqueline fell asleep with the skeleton. No, I mean, we did Cub Scout stuff on Saturday, so more popcorn. So that was fun. But no, it was kind of a chill weekend, which was good. How about you? Were you and the boys up to anything this weekend?
It rained all weekend, which really left us not able to go. I know you can go to the forest preserve when it rains, but that's a very, very messy situation.
I bet, yeah.
So we really didn't do much of anything. I tried a new restaurant, which was nice, and Joe's calling me out in the comments.
Yeah, liking the wings.
Rae had wings. Okay, here's the deal. I really don't eat wings, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But okay, what's the difference? Okay, I have a question now. We're gonna get in a tangent.
Are you okay?
What is the difference between wings and boneless wings and chicken tenders? What's the difference?
Well, if you get traditional wings, they have the bones in them. So
which is absolutely not what I do. So
the difference is the two. There's that. I'm pretty confident. I don't know, but I'm pretty confident boneless wings are not actually like cut from the wings. I think they're from somewhere else, but I don't know that for sure.
But like boneless wings and chicken tenders, to me, same thing.
Yeah, basically. My guess is I'm wondering if they're just a cut, like a different cut of the chicken. Like I think chicken tenders and stuff are often from a breast.
Sure, but like Adam's saying here, like boneless wings are just big.
Yeah, that's what they feel like. It's just big chicken nuggets.
I agree.
They're just cooked like traditional wings.
Okay, and I do like Karen's throwing in like cauliflower wings. Totally love those too. Here's what I wanted. I wanted the mild sauce on a salad. That's what my goal was last night.
Like the mild buffalo sauce?
Yeah, so I went to a wings place to get essentially glorified chicken tenders with sauce on them to put on a salad with ranch. That's what I got.
Did you have fries?
I mean, obviously. Can you go somewhere like that and not have fries?
Well, no, I just don't think you can have salad without fries.
I also had mozzarella sticks. What's our
you went big yesterday.
Yeah.
That's Jonathan's. Like on Saturday, Jonathan had that's his dinner is we just get him the mozzarella sticks. He loves those things.
Well, when I got him yesterday, let's talk about this also because we've already gotten there. The mozzarella stick was 3 layers of 3 each. So there was 9 mozzarella sticks. Who can eat 9 mozzarella sticks?
It's a lot of cheese.
But like, yes, a lot of cheese. It's a lot of food.
It's a lot of fried bread. Like,
well, and they were big. It wasn't like these. It wasn't like cheese curds where they're like teeny tiny little. Yeah. These were big honking mozzarella sticks. 9 of them. What is there a party of 12 with me? I don't understand.
Jonathan had his appetizer. I think there was 8. I think it was 8 or 9. And they were big, and then they were sprinkled on top with like shredded mozzarella. I'm like, there's not enough inside.
Right. Yeah, this one had like a Parmesan on top, and I was like, oh, good, because, you know, the mozzarella stick didn't have enough.
I think his might have had some Parmesan too, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's fancy.
It is. It's like 9 string cheese sticks. Yeah, that's what Karen said. Yeah. Okay, Katie, I know mozzarella sticks are the bomb.com, but can you eat 9 is the question. There's a lot of people in the comments saying that they could totally eat 9. Yeah. I'm surprised. That's a lot of cheese.
This is an interesting conversation.
Okay. Anyway, should we get into some good news? Because
let's
I don't know if this was good news. I don't think so.
It could qualify, but let's give him something else too, just in case.
We'll give you something else. All right, I can't even transition into this because Chris says he's just warming up eating the 9. I can probably eat like double the amount of food I can. If he thinks that it's just an appetizer to eat those 9, I can't keep up with him for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Chris.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to Daily Drop-In, where we're live every single morning, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern. We're thrilled that we're having no tech issues this morning. We are so excited to be here, recapping our weekends, talking about nothing, and now trying to get into some good news to try and give you some value before we dive into the rest of our day today. There are a lot of celebrations to be had. None of them have to do with mozzarella sticks, but there are some that have to do with food. So, Jeff Gargis, are you hungry?
I guess, yeah, I kind of am, and I guess I'm ready to be hungrier, so.
Well, here's the deal. I don't necessarily like when you're looking at the holidays for the day and you feel like there are some repeats. I think that like throws me. Like there can only be one National Mozzarella Stick Day. Like you shouldn't feel like you come across multiple. I'm worried that some of these feel repetitive since what we've done like for daily drop-in over the past
Is it
month.
possible that we had like a national to the U.S., but then there was a national like somewhere, some other country, and that's where we got it? Maybe, or
maybe, but
or
still,
maybe you've done so many of these that you can't remember which ones you have or have not said already.
okay. Let's get into that.
There's a lot.
I think that's probably true. Like, okay, we'll get into this. So one is National Cinnamon Roll Day. I think every single person should go celebrate National Cinnamon Roll Day this morning. It is 6:15 Central, 7:15 Eastern right now, and it's still early enough to go get a cinnamon roll.
Still early enough, yep. You can still cook them in the oven. Still got plenty of time.
Whoa, in the oven?
Why? You've never cooked cinnamon roll, like Pillsbury cinnamon rolls in your oven?
Okay, first of all, you just asked me if I cooked something, so let's go with no. But definitely, isn't it in the toaster?
Cinnamon rolls?
Is that not a thing? Katie Miglin, can you help? Katie,
who cooks cinnamon rolls in the toaster? I mean, I guess in a toaster oven, like a toaster oven, not a toast.
The thing that you open, you slide it in. It's
a toaster oven, yeah, or in the oven. If you don't have a toaster oven, it's something where you can put it in to heat it up.
We can't get into the difference between oven and toaster oven because I'm uneducated in that. Let's just go with go make cinnamon rolls or go stop somewhere and go get a cinnamon roll. I have a question also. Does a donut count as a substitute for a cinnamon roll if the donut has cinnamon and the glaze on it?
It could, but I mean, cinnamon rolls are baked or toasted apparently, and donuts are fried. So,
okay,
but you could just do some if it has some cream cheese frosting on it and some or icing on it with some cinnamon. I guess maybe, I don't know.
The comments of people saying
they're very upset right now. This is like we should get off this controversial topic. This is not what we're about.
So there's so much hate in the comments. We usually don't see as much hate, especially on a Monday morning. I just want to formally apologize to the Teach Better family. I'm not sure what I've said in the past 2 minutes. Which comment made you upset?
Well, first off, you claimed that you toast cinnamon rolls, so I think that was the first mistake.
I meant like in the toaster oven.
I think we should move on.
Moving on. Okay. It also is National Taco Day. Now that you said that, I think we've had National Fajita Day. Different.
Tacos are good. Another thing you can toast in the toaster. That's good.
No. National Taco Day is today. Go get a taco, even though it's Monday and not Taco Tuesday. We support it. There is a holiday today that I feel like might be inappropriate to celebrate on Daily Drop-In. So it's National, and then there's an alcohol day today. It's a clear liquid that you make with martinis. Oh, well, that's controversial too. Okay, clear liquid that isn't.
I think we're already there, Ray. You might as well say it.
What?
How about we, Ray? You can say the holiday, but we're going to tell everyone to hold off their celebration until Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Oh yeah, so only during brain break should
then
you.
It's appropriate.
National Vodka Day. Moving on. It's also National Golf Lovers Day. So any of our golf lovers. Always good. And then I thought this was cool. This is one you can bring to your kiddos. Obviously, the food is kind of fun as well, but it's also World Animal Day. I think that could be cool to dive into all the different things that you can celebrate for that day. So
a lot of things today.
Lots of things. And we're always up to celebrate more and more.
Shouldn't there be? So, like on certain holidays, federal holidays, we get the day off, right? Typically. Yeah. I think if there are enough of I don't know what the number is, if it's 3, 5, 7, whatever, if there are enough of those other holidays, it should add up to one of those and everyone should get the day off.
I don't think it works.
Like when you just read it off like 5, like I think that's like at 3, like you should, especially if they're 3 food related, because you got work to do at that point. Like,
but then we wouldn't be able to go to work, and we have important work that we have to
No. Well, we'd be able to go to work, but we'd be going to work toasting up some cinnamon rolls, toasting up some tacos, and drinking some vodka. Like that's
again,
playing
you're
golf.
not condoning vodka on this Monday morning, but cinnamon rolls, yes. Tacos,
to be clear, I am.
No, Jeff, it is early. This is not appropriate conversation. We've already made people upset. No, you are drinking coffee in that mug, and we are very happy you're here. Good morning, everyone. Daily Drop-In. We have a good news story for you. There was a lot of good news stories to choose from, so I was a little thrown, like very.
That's a good thing.
It was wonderful, but I don't know which one was really going to hit home, and I feel like I chose wrong. So, do you want me to pick the one I picked, or do you want me to go back to the list?
Let's do the one that you picked, and then we'll look back at the list and we'll make a decision whether you were right or wrong.
But let's assume I was
the way
wrong.
everyone can judge you in the comments. That's what I'm here for.
Here's the deal, guys. We bring you a good news story, not only to bring you some positivity, but also to give you some ideas on topics that you could be conversation starters with colleagues or students, or help you dive into a deeper concept that you might be covering in your classroom. So I thought this was interesting, and it was a good news article. May not have been the right one to pick this morning, but thankfully Daily Drop-In happens 5 days a week, so there's hope for the future. This one says, 5 Midwestern governors sign up to create EV charging network to keep electric vehicles moving. So the governors from neighboring states of Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin signed an agreement on Friday to collaborate on EV charging networks across the Midwest to support electronic car sales, reduce harmful emissions, and protect the public health. This goes into a really big article all about how these governors came together to create kind of like a movement that they hope goes throughout the U.S. and really to ensure that at least people driving through the Midwest never have an issue or at risk driving an electronic car and not having a charging station, which I thought was really interesting. Does that work?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I'm thinking my buddy's got a Tesla. He lives down in Texas, so he'll drive from Texas all the way back to Ohio. And the last time he did Texas to Ohio up to the top of Michigan, then down to Florida. And he told me he had 0 issues finding
awesome.
It's starting to go. And so,
but I think this article specifically notes that there's hesitation
because of that. Yeah, I agree.
Electronic vehicle because people are concerned that gas stations are in abundance, but charging stations don't always feel as though they are. And I'm thrilled, to your point, that, it hasn't been a stress on him. He's been able to make it work. And obviously, I think the governors here are kind of getting together to say, we're trying to reduce that anxiety so people can feel more comfortable making a healthier decision for the planet.
And I'm wondering, so curious in the article, where was that from? Because I'd love to check it out.
This is in the Good News Network.
Good News Network.
So easy spot to go visit. We use a bunch of different websites, but this one's always good. And they publish, I'm going to tell you, they published 7 articles this morning all about the good news. There was one about Australia. There's a really, really, really cute seal that just had a birthday. Not to brag, but it was adorable.
You picked the EV one, not the cute seal birthday?
It was a 31-year-old seal who had a birthday cake.
Wow. That seems really old for a seal.
That's impressive. And he ate his birthday cake and then took a nap. That's what the article was about. That's
exciting. What were the other articles that you passed up?
Making clean hydrogen energy was a good one. I liked this one. This would have been if we had a visual on Daily Drop-In, we should have where we can click on a commercial and it should play a news story. This would have been it because this had a video attached to it. It was a floating flower garden in Tokyo. So the flowers are coming from the ceiling.
Oh,
so walk through the garden upside down. It was super neat.
We could play videos like that.
Yeah.
Not that I want to introduce another form of tech into this.
Maybe shout out to our production team that doesn't exist. Hey guys, if you could get that going. Chris is in the comments. We make fun of Chris all the time. Chris is essentially our video guy. Chris, get this going. Just saying. Yeah.
He's busy eating mozzarella sticks to start his day right now.
Well, and obviously cinnamon rolls for National Cinnamon Roll Day.
He gets warmed up with the mozzarella sticks at 6 in the morning and then moves on to the cinnamon rolls after that.
It's true.
And then
hopefully you guys are enjoying this dose of positivity. We are going to transition into our brainstorm bank. We have a brand new theme this week that we have not yet announced that we'll absolutely be able to celebrate this morning and all week long. Thank you for all of you who have been in the comments with all the shenanigans. Maybe, Jeff, within the next 10 minutes, we could do something of value other than just talk about cinnamon rolls, tacos, and failed good news stories.
We can try. I'm laughing at Jody's comment about my face when you mentioned the hydrogen energy because I'm sitting. My thought was neither one of us would have anything to talk about after you read it because we'd be like, what?
But it was really interesting because the article, guys, go read it because it says making clean energy is hard, but researchers have solved a major hurdle. So I actually thought it was a really good article to bring to any sort of science class or discussion because it was about that there was a big hurdle that they overcame, which was super interesting.
You could also bring to science class?
What?
That seal.
The seal was so cool. How many seals get a 31-year-old birthday cake?
I know. I know. I love
The
it.
steel is almost as ancient as you, Jeff.
All right, let's go to our brainstorm bank.
Brainstorm bank.
All right, welcome back to Daily Drop-In, where we're live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday every week at 7 a.m. Eastern time, which is 6-ish or something like that, Rae's time. And we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Twitch, and we are on YouTube. This is our brainstorm bank. So if you go to teachbetter.com/brainstorm bank, you can drop in ideas, questions, comments. We've got a lot of our themes from there. So drop in your ideas for what we want to touch on and talk about. You could, of course, always drop into the comments if you're watching with us live and say hello there, ask a question there. And if you listen on the Teach Better Talk podcast, which I know quite a few people do, teachbetter.com/brainstorm bank. We want to know what you want to talk about, what would you love to see. If you have an idea for a cool guest, anything like that, that's the place to go. Yes, Miss Hewer with her hand up. Yes.
Yeah, so you go to teachbetter.com/brainstorm bank. You can also go to teachbetter.com/daily drop-in. Same solution.
What do you get on there? Are the baby seal stories there?
No,
it's not really. He's not a baby seal. He's like a grandpa seal, huh?
Yeah, he's an old.
He's probably got lots of grandbaby seals at that age.
Teachbetter.com/daily drop-in brings you to the Daily Drop-in homepage, which can navigate you to the brainstorm bank form.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. And our theme this week is about protecting your time.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
It's interesting. So it's all about setting those boundaries, making sure that you're taking care of yourself. So Rae, earlier I kind of resisted a little bit of asking. You went into a little bit what you did this weekend, but I didn't quite go into, hey, what all did you do this weekend? Because I want to go into this and be like, did you protect your time this weekend? Did you take time for yourself? Did you make sure that you had time to rest and relax? Because clearly you were out partying all day yesterday with your mozzarella sticks and salads and wings and the Patriots and Tom Brady and stuff. But did you take some time this weekend to relax and reset? And I know you were working because I saw things going on in our base camp.
Okay.
I don't feel like you protected your time very well.
Okay, but I feel like I did protect my time pretty well. So
okay.
I'm saying this knowing that this is not a popular opinion, but level with me. Teachers, you know how this is. I like doing a little bit of work on the weekend to get myself prepared for the upcoming week. And I like when I get to work on my time, like when other people don't dictate when that happens. So typically it's kind of a tradition or it's a habit. It's a choice that I like to make on the weekends where I take one day completely off. I like disconnect, I'm out, I'm gone. And then I take the other day to get some work done for a period of time. And I get to decide what that looks like. So for me, I actually feel like I had a really relaxing weekend because Saturday I was a total bum. I stayed in bed all day. I cleaned my house. I went out to dinner. And then Sunday I got up early and did like 6 hours at the coffee shop. But it was like my time that I was able to do that. So I got to sip on my coffee and have lunch out. And I got a lot of work done, which made me feel really productive to start the week.
I think you just like opened up the first piece of this is the fact that like there's so much, I think there's so many things you can go read and watch and learn about how you're supposed to set boundaries and all this time and balance and all these things. But you just hit the key, which is the fact that it's your time. It's your time to protect, your sanity to protect, and how you protect it is what works for you, not what you're supposed to do, right? You're not supposed to work on the weekends if you work 5 days throughout the week, right? But like, who says? If that helps you take that extra, the day where you really didn't do anything, you really took your time, if that allows you to do that, then good. Like, and I think you hit the key of like, no one, it's not someone else demanding that you do it. You making a choice saying, hey, I'm going to do this. So freeze this up and I'm in a better place. And I think that's the key.
Well, and I think that sometimes when I don't do some of those things on the weekend, I find that my weeks are more stressful because I have more to accomplish in those 5 days. And I personally have the luxury on occasion to spread out my work. But this upcoming week is a busy one for me. Today, actually, if any of you need anything, I have a really open schedule this morning. So if anybody needs something, text, call me, let me help you. But Wednesday I'm at a school all day. So that kind of takes up that whole chunk of my Wednesday, and there's a little bit of a drive. So there's some travel. And then Friday is kind of up in the air for me as well. So I feel like I needed to start the week off ahead so that I didn't get really bogged down by the following weekend. I was trying to be proactive.
Totally get. And when I saw you doing some work, I'm like, oh yeah, she's out all Wednesday out of school, so you're calculating time. I love Carrie's comment of I'm loving this conversation. I work 7 days a week, but it's completely by choice that I arrange my schedule that way.
Yeah,
and like you said, you alluded to it. You said it like it's by choice. And if you are aware of why you are working, whatever the schedule is, what the hours are, and you're still okay with it and you're happy with it. I guess okay with it is not the right way. If you're still happy and feeling fulfilled, then it's fine. If that means you work 6-7 days a week, that means you work if that means you work 50 hours a week, that's fine as long as you can handle it and you're keeping yourself healthy and you're mentally okay. If not, then you need to try and do something differently, right? So I think that's the key. There's no one. I think our friend, I'm trying to channel a little bit of Lindsay Titus, but not spoken as well, where she would tell you that it's not about like a specific type of routine or boundary or anything like that. It's about finding yours. And what is that? It's about defining you. Just saying.
There you go. Well, I think Jody hit the nail on the head here. She's like, this topic is so needed right now. As we were looking at our themes are really supposed to be relevant to your life right now. And I think a lot of educators are not taking time for themselves. And I think you're right, Jeff, that when we say time for themselves, a lot of that can be misinterpreted for, so don't work. And it's like, no. Like, we want you to still excel at your job, still obviously give all you can for your students, but you need to be protective of your time. And so how do you utilize the time that you're working the most effectively as possible? And then how do you disconnect the most effectively as possible? And that sometimes is a really challenging skill. For Carrie's comment about the working 7 days a week, work can look different. Like when Carrie says, I work 7 days a week, Carrie is a phenomenal rock star. Like, may we all be like Carrie Pitstick, honestly. She has so many different roles that she gets to play in so many different like pieces of education. But I'll also say that when she says she works 7 days a week, for all we know, that might mean that she put in an hour on Sunday. Well, for her, that hour refueled her. She didn't mind working an hour. I don't want educators to think that, you need to feel this pressure to work, quote unquote, and your definition of work looks different than somebody else. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes checking my email, I consider that work, but it only takes me a few minutes and I'm just like deleting and kind of like cleaning up my inbox. Yeah, I don't know.
And that's where you talk about like sometimes like the disconnect. I think we get so focused, hyper focused on disconnect that disconnecting might not be the right thing for you.
No.
Like you just led me there with the email thing. Like, technically checking an email would be not disconnected. So if you disconnect on Saturday, it means you're not checking your email. But if that causes you anxiety because you're not sure if you missed something, that's no longer a good practice. And that's not actually protecting your time or sanity. You might need to be like, hey, I'm going to take a half hour. I'm going to check all my emails. I'm going to make sure that is not something that's going to be on my mind for the rest of this day so that I can go to the park with the dogs and enjoy my life or spend time with my family without thinking, is that something on, going on. And I worked this week too. I put a few hours in on Saturday morning, a couple on Sunday too, but that was just because I was sitting there. But like I actually came down to my desk, sat down, and like actually did a few hours of work because I was like, there's something that was weighing on my head. It wasn't, no one was pressuring me. Like, I wasn't going to get in trouble if I didn't get done, but I felt a little stressed. I'm like, I'm not going to enjoy my day unless I organize myself and get this done. And I did, and then I didn't have to think about it for the rest of the Saturday, which was great.
Do you ever feel like sometimes working on the weekend gives you clarity? Like, I guess the reason I asked that is because I spent all week. There's the nonprofit that I support. For those who don't know, I'm affiliated with an Illinois nonprofit that supports middle school teachers. There is an event in December. Now, December, it's 2.5 months away. I had plenty of time to do this event, but I couldn't get to it at any point this week because throughout the week, as teachers and especially working in the field of education, you kind of are doing a bunch of different projects. Like, I didn't have the clarity, the space in my mind to sit down and not be distracted by all the other projects I had to focus on this week and just focus on the event. So instead, I gave myself grace and I said, I'm not going to worry about this event for the whole week. And on Sunday, I sat down at the coffee shop with a wonderful cup of coffee and some breakfast. I had like this like slice of quiche. It was delicious. And I put in a few hours to just work on this event. And because it was a day that people don't expect you to be working, I didn't have the same distractions. Like, it was calming to figure out some of the logistics for this event because I didn't feel any pressure to be doing anything else. So it was like, it wasn't stressful to get these pieces and logistics going. I don't know if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. And I think it sort of touched a little bit to what Dr. Jeffrey Prickett mentioned, but that it's really tough when you have so many things / people vying for your attention. So you made a decision early that you're like, okay, I'm not going to think about this thing that's pulling for my attention until Saturday. And then when you get to Saturday, a lot of those other things are no longer pulling for your attention and trying to get you because you worked on them. So now you can intentionally do it. And I think there's something about working on a day that's not Monday through Friday, because in our society we're so like those are work days. So when you're in those days, you're trying to get everything done. When you get to Saturday, Sunday, you're like, well, I don't have to work today, so anything I do is great. Yeah. So when you do a little bit, it feels really good sometimes because you're just like, I didn't have to work today. No one expected me to work today. I'm supposed to be off, and I did an hour, which makes me feel really good. Which one can help your productivity, but also like you're gonna feel better for the day. Like I felt so much better when I was done, and again, I wasn't gonna nothing like the company wasn't falling apart if I didn't do it. But feeling good, just like with that looking at that project now, your Saturday is gonna be better, which means your Monday is gonna be better, which means your next week's gonna be better, which means maybe you don't have to do anything next Saturday. Like it's just, I'm looking at Jody, like she's struggling with because of the massive shortage of subs and everything else, that schools are struggling with a lot of different shortages. Teachers are stepping in all over the place now. And most time, like Jody mentions here, it's on their plan time. So I don't know, that's a situation, unfortunately, that like, it's pretty clear it's not getting solved anytime soon. So it's one of those ones that unfortunately is something that's going to be probably for at least the remainder of this school year. So it's one of those things that we have to adjust. And the way you got to protect your time there is realizing that, hey, I want this to be fixed. This isn't necessarily fair, but it's where we're at right now. I need to do what I need to do to make sure that I'm going to make it through this. Since you're stepping up to fill in so many other roles, like that's just part of it. And so,
and to your point though, Jeff, like this is why we're focusing on this week. Yes, we're talking about protecting your time, but we have more opportunities right now than ever to not protect our time. When your administrator or your a colleague asks you for a favor, whether it be to substitute a classroom or take on a new responsibility, more often than not, we really need to make sure that that is not only best for students but also best for us. And that mentality of thinking about ourselves is not commonly found within the education field. Teachers are constantly wanting to give and give and give and give. And so this week specifically, we not only want to talk about all these opportunities and potential hurdles that you're having to make decisions on day to day, but also try and give you some strategies to think through of how you protect your time without feeling badly about it. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, this whole week, we have incredible guests that are going to be joining us, and we'll kind of preview the week here in a minute. But everything is really focused on how can we give you a strategy to not only say, oh, I'm going to protect my time, but how do you actually ensure that you're thriving as you protect your time? Because if you're protecting your time and then feeling so much guilt the whole time, then you're not really doing any justice for yourself.
Yeah, that's not, that to me no longer protects your time, because the time that you've protected, if you're stressed out and beat down, like it doesn't fix it. So if you can find, how can I stretch my time a little more than maybe I want to or used to, while also stepping into these spots where I want to help. And I think it's really important to Rae's point that teachers are amazing. So they're going to say yes more times than no, especially because they understand the situation. But there's a point where you're not actually going to necessarily help as much because you're going to hurt yourself other spots. And if you can realize that, figure that out, that conversation, while hard, needs to happen of, hey, I can do this, but I got to do it every other week, or I don't know all the, the ins and outs specific to Jody's, but in the explanation of, look, I can do this, but I'm not going to be good for you unless I do this. So we need to figure out
I'd love to find time, and I don't know what guest is going to be maybe the good or the best option to touch on this, but the theory of protecting time and not feeling that guilt, like especially Jody's comment here, like I really would love to help find a solution to that. I definitely don't have the answers to that, but that is something that I think is so detrimental that as teachers choose to protect their time. And again, that definition is so open-ended. It depends on what it best serves you. But I really struggle with educators that make the conscious choice to protect their time and then feel guilty. And that's a lot of weight to carry. So I hope we're able to kind of dive into that this week.
If I can touch, I think you got to figure out where that guilt is coming from. Is it coming from your leaders guilting you? Because that's one issue, right? And it's very potential. I think a lot of that guilt sometimes comes from this inner monologue that educators have all the time, because to be an educator and to make it in education, you have to have a servant mentality, and you have to you view yourself as serving students, parents, the community, everything in society. And when you say no to something, you think, oh, I'm no longer being a good servant. I'm no longer serving the way I should and beating you up. So figuring out first off is this because someone's telling me I should feel guilty, which is a whole thing that unfortunately I don't know that there's much, like, I don't know how to find that solution as well, or is it, am I beating myself up before because no one else is, right? Am I doing this because I'm feeling like I'm less because I'm not given as much, because I'm not going above and beyond like I read that person is, or whatever. And that conversation might need to happen with you, if that's what it is, need to happen with your leaders of like, hey, look, I am burning out. I am struggling. I am stressed out. I don't think I'm being good for my students or the students in a sub because I'm feeling guilty when I say no. And hopefully your leader will say, okay, that's okay. Let's not overwhelm you. Let's figure out where you can help and where you can't, and have them help you go through that. Now, again, I don't know your leader, so that's a whole other story, but I know someone like a Jeffrey Prickett is going to work with his staff to do that. So does that make sense? Sorry.
Can I ask a question? And either this is a third stream or maybe it goes into the second one you said, but like, I more often than not feel guilt because I know that by me protecting my time, I'm adding to somebody else's plate. Does that make sense? Like, is that the same or different? Is that a third layer?
My response to that is, well, maybe, but maybe not.
No. For the teachers out there, we know, like they ask me to sub a class for fourth hour,
Sure.
but I have my plan during that time.
Sure.
And so I'm trying to protect my time and saying I can't, but then I know that I'm affecting somebody else because somebody has to cover that.
But what you don't know is how you are affecting someone else. You could be affecting someone else's schedule who's been dying to help more, or who's feeling really good and is like, oh yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll. I'll take that for sure. Now they're okay, and you've protected your headspace. So that's you inside going, I'm not supposed to do this because I'm supposed to be a superhero teacher, not knowing whether how you impact someone else is actually negative. Now, if you have a conversation around everyone and you meet as a team and they're like, hey, everyone's done. Now, then you guys have to discuss as a team to figure it out. But you're doing that to yourself without knowing whether for sure you actually are impacting them, right? Mm-hmm. So that's still, I think it falls into that second one. Like it's an internal, and that comes from somewhere, but like you don't know that for sure. Like there's a good chance you would be, but and so the only way to really figure that out is if you talk to your leader, whoever it is you talk to, and say, hey, I can't, what happens now? And he's like, oh, well, Rae has to take it. Now is Rae going to survive too? Or does that drown in Rae? And how do we figure this out? Because maybe now it's a back and forth. But I think it goes into communication and understanding from a team, like how can we actually take all this extra weight that we have to hold and divide it properly so that no one's, I'll say, struggling too much. You know what I mean? Like, because the reality is there may not be a way to make it so that no one has to take on more. There just may not be a way. And then you have to figure out, how do we do this so that person who takes on more now maybe doesn't take as much on tomorrow or the next week, and how can we best balance this as a team? And that doesn't happen unless you're willing to speak up and talk about it, in my opinion. So easier said than done, to be clear.
But to your point, there's been plenty of times where I've taken a cover and my colleague down the hall, like, would have been so stressed if she took it. But for me, I either wasn't in the headspace to be productive during my plan period anyway, or I already had my to-do list done, or maybe I have a student teacher that's helping me with my to-do list. So it might be easier for me in that instance to like cover something, and it would have been more stressful for her. So I think you're right, that better understanding, not just assuming that somebody's in the same headspace, but I don't know. That was interesting.
So her asking to give that up in that particular situation, like she shouldn't have felt any guilt.
Sure.
Because you were in a spot where you're like, hey, I can take that on for the team and it's not going to hurt me. It's not going to negatively impact me.
Interesting.
So again, a lot easier said than done. So it's fighting those demons.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to dive into this week. I think we're going to have a lot of different perspectives from a lot of different types of educators, which I think is kind of a blessing on Daily Drop-In. So should we like preview upcoming this week?
Let's do that. I like it.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Daily Drop-In. We're at the last segment of our time together. We just wanted to make sure that we gave you a little preview of what this week's going to look like. Obviously, Jeff and I were able to touch on this concept of protecting your time today, but we know that we have a lot of other voices that we're going to be welcoming onto the show to be able to share their thoughts and opinions. And Jeff, I want to preface, I think this concept of protecting our time is something that everybody has an opinion on, right? Like anybody could have come on the show this week and had something of value to kind of share a piece of insight. I will tell you, I think this is going to be a weird week because I think everybody that we're having on comes from a very interesting lens that I think the conversation is going to be unexpected. I don't know if I'm excited for it, but this is not a very predictable week, which I kind of find some beauty in.
Well, I'm interested now.
Yeah. So tomorrow, Eric Francis is joining us.
Okay.
And Eric Francis is an educator doing incredible things. His expertise is in questioning. He does a lot of work with scaffolding information. And so he kind of would have been a great fit for last week, which was all about the skill, the power of questioning. We intentionally brought him on this week, though, because I think there's going to be some great dialogue around the expertise he has, the work he has. He travels around the country doing professional development, and the reflection of protecting everyone's time and how he continues to not only do that for himself, but for the teachers globally that he works with. So I'm excited to dive into that. On Wednesday, you are facilitating a conversation with Lillian Ardell, which, side note, I actually know Lillian from my life, growing up. We had family friends that we had in common. It's kind of cool that she went into this field. She has a doctorate in the art, the skill, the craft of language use. And so while she does a lot of work with EL students, she does a ton of work at the university level with research of how language can affect students in the classroom. She's coming on this week, and I'm so excited for you to interview her because she's really excited to dive into the skill of using language to best our mindsets, right? To not feel guilt, to make sure that we are, using language as an avenue of self-care, which I think will really be an interesting take on this whole protecting time concept.
Yeah. And that's interesting.
The last piece on Thursday, Chris Anderson is joining us. He's been a very active friend on Twitter. I think he's going to bring a very different perspective to all of this than we've even touched on thus far. And then Brad Hughes, the one and only, hopefully joining us on Friday, assuming
we're not breaking things.
Not breaking things. So I find this week to be very interesting because while I love that we're able to preview topics every single week and hopefully spark some interest, there's going to be some interesting lenses we're going to look through this topic with this week.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a good one.
Should be
a good week. Good week.
Very good week. So I'm really excited to get into all that. And obviously, Jeff, you hosting Wednesday, I'm a little jealous, but I'll be listening on my drive because I'll be headed to school that morning. So I'm very excited to listen to that conversation.
Good. I'm excited. Yeah, that's fun. I usually get to do my Mondays. Now I get to do an extra. I got to do an extra one last week.
I know. That was a really good episode, by the way. Andrea Bittner.
Yeah. Oh, she's phenomenal.
So good.
It was a fun conversation. And we didn't have any tech issues.
I know.
So it was great.
Hey, Jeff, as we get into our week, I know you and I are
Yes.
kind of tag teaming hosts this week. As we're getting into our week, can you give me kind of like a challenge, something that our audience can think through as they're thinking through the theme? You know, all the guests are coming in. What's kind of the headspace, the challenge that you want to give them for this week?
I actually want to play on the guilt. I want to challenge everyone to take some time this week, and this may be a 30-minute thing or it may be a 5-hour thing. I don't know what it is, but take some time this week and figure out if you are in that spot, feeling guilty for setting boundaries, feeling guilty for saying no to protect your time. See if you can figure out where is that guilt actually coming from. And if it's coming from inside you, have that conversation with yourself. How do I get past that? And if it's not, if it's coming from someone else, I challenge you to have the conversation with them, which is going to be super uncomfortable probably, to figure out how do we get around this and make it better? Because you hear all the time, like, can't pour from an empty cup. And if you got to take care of yourself first and put your mask on first before the kids, right, in the airplane, you got to get yourself we're okay. We're in unprecedented times. Teachers are in. This is unreal. What is continuing to be asked of you and put on you. And I think it's really important to figure out where is that feeling coming from if you're feeling it. And then from there, you can start working on, okay, how do I fix that now? And it might not be a quick fix or an easy fix. It might be a long-term thing, but I think that's really important to understand where that's coming from.
That's a big challenge.
It's a tough one. Sorry. And then, of course, eat a cinnamon roll. There, I softened it up a little bit.
Go eat a cinnamon roll. I love it. No, but you're right. I mean, honestly, I think the concept of guilt should be something that we continue to touch on, because I know more conversations than not, every time I talk to teachers, there's been a lot of that around. And if we can have any way of helping shift your mindset in this concept,
I think so much of the far beyond this topic and so many other topics, so much of the inner voices where we beat ourselves up and stuff like that, like that's one of the biggest solutions, biggest things we have to fix in order to feel better just in general, whether it's setting boundaries, whether it's feeling like you're worth it, whether it's finding balance and stuff like that. It's figuring out where that voice in your head is coming from and why it's there, and so that you can start to fix it. So I think that's crucial.
We're going to find a solution this week. We're so excited to give you lots of different things to think on and reflect on, and hopefully actually implement some of these pieces so you can continue to set appropriate boundaries for yourself. This will be a really, really, really good week. Jeff, any final words before we all take our last sips of coffee and enjoy the rest of our day?
Tacos. Cinnamon rolls and tacos.
Go eat a taco. Go eat a cinnamon roll. We appreciate you. We hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Monday. It's October 4th, and you don't even know, this is going to be the best Monday you've had thus far this year. So walk in with the right mindset, the perspective, give yourself grace. And we can't wait to see you again tomorrow morning, bright and early, for Daily Drop-In at 7 a.m. Eastern, over on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, or on Teach Better Talk podcast after the fact. So we appreciate you. Harvey's going to keep growling.
The boys.
And we're going to go start our day. Bye, guys.